Hi everybody. What is the difference between a battery charger and a battery maintainer? This is getting a harder and harder question to answer because everybody's making what they call smart chargers maintainers. It's getting very difficult to find a battery charger or a maintainer that actually does its job properly. So I've got a few of the ones I have here. I use them for all different things. I've tried multiple different battery tenders to leave on my batteries over time. And I've only found one that really works well. And I'm very happy with it. And I've got multiples of them now. But I want to show you the difference of what different battery tenders, chargers do once they're charged. So this charger here is just from our local Canadian Tire. And this one will charge at 2, 4, or 8 amps, or automatic select it. And when it's charged, it goes into a maintenance mode. So right now I've got it hooked up to a battery and it says charged maintaining. So I bought this one specifically to leave on my truck when I wasn't plowing, and it doesn't do what it needs to do. So I'm going to just quickly take a measurement. This has been sitting here for, I'm going to say, probably an hour now. And so if you can see this, it's showing 12.69 volts, and that's in maintenance mode. It will go down to 12.4, maybe even lower, and then it'll bring it back up to about 12.78, and it floats between those values. That is not enough to maintain a battery over time. It's essentially allowing it to drop to a voltage that is too low, and the battery can and will sulfate. So as just an indicator, if I disconnect the terminal and reconnect it, you're going to see what happens. There we go. It starts its whole cycle again. It went up, determined it was charged, and now it's dropping back down. And it will actually, like I say, settle as low as 12.4, possibly lower, before it decides to come back up to around the 12.8 and then fall between those values. So a battery that's maintained and going down below the 12.8, 12.6, or even just sitting at those voltages will over time sulfate, and you'll have problems. So again, this is number one. It works okay as a charger, but when it says it's maintaining, it's not a high enough voltage. A perfect maintenance voltage is in the 13.2, 13.3 volt range. This charger is my favorite battery charger that I've ever had. Again, this is a Canadian Tire brand, Nautilus. I've had it for a very long time. And this one will charge it up to 15 amps, and it will maintain, and it will maintain properly. So I'm just going to see if I can get a reading so we can see it on the camera here. So you can see this one is showing 13.66, and it's maintaining. It's showing 0 amps flowing. That will drop to around the 13.2 range. It's still just settling down. But this charger will maintain that 13.2 range indefinitely when it's left connected to the battery, which is perfect. It is a large charger, like again, up to 15 amps, but it will not allow the battery to sulfate over time. Third, I've got one over here. This is another small maintainer charger. And until recently, I thought it would just probably float again in the 13.2 range. This is an automatic one. Selects between 6 or 12 volt all by itself, and it's kind of one that you can bolt under the hood of your car or leave it there permanently. It's got ringlets on it. So if we check this one, and this one again just turned green a little while ago, but I've used it enough times, I can tell you what it will do. So it's still relatively high. It's 13.8, and it was charging at about 14.75. So it's hit green, but this one also will settle to under 13 volts. This one will settle down and again sit in that anywhere in the 12.6, 12.8, 12.5 range, and occasionally decide that it has to boost up again. And to me, again, that's too low. If you're going to leave something, leave it on a device or an ATV or a snowmobile for 6 months of the year or 8 months of the year. So finally, I have this one, and this is a Deltran battery tender. I love these little units. They are phenomenal. They do everything and they do it well. It's a 1 1/4 amp charger. So when you first connect it, it'll charge as much as it needs to start to drop that set back. And once it's charged, it will float right at that 13.2 volt area. So again, it's still settling, but now it's down to 13.4. But I can tell you, this one will not go down below that 13.2. It will keep it there. And I've used these for years, and your batteries will essentially last forever when off season they're connected to one of these units. Very, very reliable. So the problem with so many chargers is when you connect them to a lower, almost dead battery, many of them now will not charge because the charger is all computerized and automatic, and it doesn't see a high enough voltage on the terminals, and it questions whether it's a 12 volt battery. So it decides, I'm not sure it's not a 12 volt battery, so I'm not going to charge it. So you're left with a battery charger that you can't charge your battery with. So again, battery charger or maintainer, a lot of the chargers work well, but if they're dead batteries, they won't. And this is even one of them. If it's completely dead, it'll go through a desulfate cycle. The two of these will. Again, the Nautilus has been great. But again, if you've got recreational vehicles that you need to take batteries out of for the season, or you just want to leave them in and leave them connected, this one here, this Deltran battery maintainer charger is fantastic, and I've probably got 4 of those now, and it's the only one, in my opinion, that keeps it at the right voltage and keeps it there all the time. So I hope that helps somebody. But if you are completely different animals, but when they say charger maintainer, be leery of what that maintenance voltage is. Charger maintainer is okay if you just want to charge up a low battery and a couple days later you're going to disconnect it. But if you're going to leave it for the whole season, you want something that is going to hold it at that 13.2 area of voltage so that it doesn't boil. It's not a high enough voltage that it's going to bubble your battery, but it's not low enough that it's going to sulfate, and it can literally stay on that charger maintainer for life, and it'll be. So about 4 hours later, after they've been sitting here, the small Deltran tender is sitting at 13.28. That's this one right here. Okay, so there is the 8 amp charger maintainer that's showing that it's maintaining, and we are at 12.68. So a significant difference. This is now a good 4, maybe 5 hours later since they were all being tested, and some were still settling down. So I hope you found this useful. There's a lot of information here. If you found this useful, please like the video and subscribe. You'll help me out on my channel. Have a great day.